Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Research and Innovation Training Institute. Today, we are honored to present to you a presentation titled Hidden Figures of Research, and it's being presented by the Center for Teaching Excellence. We all know that the Center for Teaching Excellence provides a wealth of information for our faculty, but the hidden information is that they also do projects and workshops and so on for those that are interested in research as well. And so we thought it would be a perfect pairing for them to join us in the Research and Innovation Training Institute today. Today presenting, we will have Dr. Lorette Foster and Shayla Wiggins. I want to make sure that everyone is aware that we are recording today's session. It will be available on our YouTube channel, which is PVAMU Research. We encourage you to subscribe to PVAMU Research YouTube channel, because then you can get updated on not only the Research and Innovation Training Institute when we update a new video there, but also our Research Data Blitz sessions when they are uploaded, and any other videos that we upload there. You'll be one of the first to know about it, so be sure to subscribe. So without further ado, let me introduce our speakers for today. Dr. Lorette Foster with the Center for Teaching Excellence, excuse me, to provide a training, and Shayla Wiggins. So take it away, ladies.
Thank you, Ms. Cotton. And we are happy to be here. We are always grateful to get out of our silo and help other people get out of their silos. And as we move around the campus, for most of you, when we are on campus, you know that we are located in 202 Wilhelmina Delco building. When we get back to the new normal, we certainly invite you to stop by. But today, Ms. Wiggins, I want to actually talk to you about the hidden figures of research in the Center for Teaching Excellence and how we support faculty and researchers in their endeavor to move forward with their research. And so if we can go to the next slide. Okay, so in the Center for Teaching Excellence, we are supported actually by Title III. We have one activity, but it is in two parts, and both of those parts actually, you will hear us talk about how research efforts are supported. So the first one is the PVAMU Academic and Leadership Academy. This was actually an activity that was written to help support individuals that are currently leaders, whether they are deans, department heads, faculty members to start with. But in addition to the faculty, the deans, the department heads, and individuals that are aspiring to be deans and department heads. And so you know that at Prairie View, you don't serve generally in one role, but you may serve in a multitude of those roles. And so what we wanted to do in that environment was to actually provide an academy that would provide some leadership training and opportunities for those individuals. Sometimes we do them separately, sometimes we do them as collaborations. But one of the things, and I think the important thing for us to talk about today, is that in those trainings, particularly for each of the groups, we talk about how they can involve what they do in the classroom or as a leader and turn it into a research endeavor. And so one of the things I think around the campus When you mention research, often research is thought of as those scientific projects that are limited to certain funding agencies. And that's not all that we want our faculty. No, we want our faculty and our researchers to collaborate. We want more faculty to participate in the research. We want them to understand that what they do in their classroom is a research project. Now, of course, Donna P. is going to say they must come through her, and that's good. She's on, and so we'll send people her way. But we want to make sure that as we provide trainings in the Leadership Academy, that we are encouraging our faculty and our researchers to collaborate and increase the research endeavors that we have among the colleagues. Next slide. I think Ms. Wiggins is up.
Good afternoon, everyone. The next portion of this Title III activity deals with a review of our academic programs on our campus. And one of the greatest assets to this review is that all of the programs, after this review is completed over the next 2 or 3 years, all of the academic programs will include those high impact practices that we've all been hearing about over the past few years. And if you take a look over here on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see the list of 11 high impact practices that are recommended for success. One that we want to focus on deals with undergraduate research. Now, there are all 11. We will be incorporating all 11 of these across the board, across the curriculum. But as far as research goes, we want to make sure that we spend, well, actually that we do due diligence in making sure we include undergraduate research in that list. With the high impact practices, they foster, when they're incorporated into the curriculum, collaboration, not just between faculty, but also between faculty and students. And as you can see here with undergraduate research circled, there is a plethora, there are a plethora of opportunities that our students and our faculty can engage in as researchers and as leaders. So if you take a quick look right here on this chart, we're going to pull out undergraduate research and show you how we in the center, through this Title III activity, are looking to incorporate more undergraduate research and and we're looking at how we can capitalize on the research that faculty are already doing and combine that with students' own natural curiosity about their fields. So if you look at the different types of ways to link research to teaching, we have one area that focuses on students as actual participants in the research. So when the emphasis is on the research content, we call that research tutored teaching. So that way students work in small groups with the teacher about their research findings. This is absolutely wonderful for those areas where you may have seniors, juniors who are getting ready to enter into the career field permanently, to work with faculty in small groups so that they can become lifelong learners. That's one of the goals of this particular high impact practice being incorporated into this program review. We want to engage our students. We want to help facilitate deep learning for our students. And we also want to facilitate their conversion to more autonomous, lifelong learners. And we all know that research is a huge key to making that happen for our students. The other method of linking research to teaching that allows students to be more participatory is with an emphasis on the actual research process and the problem. That's what we call the research-based approach to instruction, where the content emphasizes student learning through their own curiosity. What are they asking questions about? Are we using real-world examples? Are we using these salient and these relevant examples from current events? Then the other side of that coin is students as simply the audience. And we have two modes, the research-led and the research-oriented. Research-led allows our faculty to focus on disseminating those facts and those ideas about the research interests that they have to help spark some student ingenuity and some interest in those fields. And then we also have research-oriented links to instruction. So that allows the course content to emphasize how to do the research. As you can see, all 4 of these have to work together in an academic program in order for our students to graduate and be successful practitioners in their field. Some tips for research-based teaching that we can offer, along with many other things that we'll be doing through this activity over the next few years, is that we want to introduce our students to inquiry-based learning using meaningful or Socratic questioning styles when we're lecturing, allowing them to have the opportunity to think, to question, to wrestle with some ideas, and to ask good questions, and we can respond with more questions to encourage them to be deep thinkers. We also want to think about requiring students to publish an article or produce a research outcome. As we talk about many research fairs and things like that, this is what the goal is to get students interested and excited about research, no matter their major, no matter their career interests, because we all know in order to thrive and be successful in the professional field, we have to maintain a high level of curiosity about what it is that we want to do and what we are becoming experts in our field. And last but not least, we want to think about how can we engage students directly as consultants with organizations. If I'm not mistaken, I think the College of Business has done this model several times over the past many years, where students will take on a real world project, and they do it in community development as well, and become a practitioner while they're studying in school to help a firm or a school or a group or nonprofit solve a real world problem. These are all methods of incorporating undergraduate research into the curriculum, and they are also considered high impact practices.
So thank you. And as Shayla was saying, with the second part of that project, where we are actually reviewing all of our programs and making sure that we're bringing currency to each of those. I saw Dr. Griffin on from agriculture. He is one of the faculty fellows that's actually doing the review for that college. This year we started with the College of Agriculture and the STEM part of arts and sciences. Mm-hmm. And it is a big endeavor because you're looking at your program, making sure that they are current with what they're offering, to include research, to include in the undergraduate curriculum. We will move to the graduate curriculum later, but to include in those programs opportunities for the faculty, the researchers, and the students. And so that project is moving along. We're happy about it. It is detailed. It is, it can be overwhelming, but we're happy to be a part of that. And to move into this slide, it will help us bring some research into the classroom. So one of the things that we look at with the classroom is, what are you doing now? And maybe what are you doing differently in the next semester? At the end of the presentation, we'll actually talk about an opportunity that that we're offering for this year. But we want faculty in particular to determine an area of teaching or learning that you want to improve. And anytime you talk about what you were doing before and what you're doing after, you are talking about some type of possible research that can be done. And so in that effort, where can the Center for Teaching Excellence help? We can help faculty investigate how the current pedagogical practices could lead to research. I think we want to make sure that our eyes are open to say, what is it that you're doing now? And is this something you've been doing all along, but actually, unless you are under 25, the way your students are learning that you have now don't learn like you learned. And so how can we actually look at those practices and offer opportunities for our faculty to create and implement improvement and an implementation plan. implementation plan. So we want to be able to help the faculty, but we want them to document that, and document that by looking at the past and moving toward the future. An example of that would be actually using the Socratic method of questioning for our students. But often that means that we have to do workshops to engage faculty in those methods, and we are here to help with that. So the center provides research opportunities on qualitative and quantitative workshops. We have some faculty that may not be as familiar with both sides of the coin, and so if we can help with that, we provide some workshops on that. We've done some workshops in the past. We'll show on some of the tools that are even used for each one of those. We support the faculty in attending external trainings to help engage in collaborative research. So perhaps there's another institution that's doing something that you're interested in, but there's not anybody at Prairie View doing that research. And so we can help engage our faculty in some collaborative research ideas by setting up those collaborations among the different institutions, or if it's an agency and a faculty member or a foundation, we can help with that. We have workshops where we bring in external consultants to assist faculty with developing research projects. It may be where we're doing a group, it may be where we're doing a large or a small group. And there are times that we may even be doing just one. So the Center for Teaching Excellence actually continues to conduct some of these opportunities. And it means that if we do that, we are providing a vehicle for you to bring that research into your classroom. Some of the trainings that we have done to help with the research, we've done trainings on APA styles, on SPSS, on SAS, in vivo. We typically send our faculty and our researchers to the library where they actually do workshop on Scopus. We've had individuals that have conducted workshops on plagiarism when it comes to research and writing, copyright, and one thing I already had an inquiry about this morning was when you are putting the final touches on your research project, being able to design those tables in Excel when you are collecting and sharing the research. It's not just about making them look pretty, but it's about being accurate and making sure that they adhere to all the formats that need to be done for any research project. So those are some of the things that we can help with. At the end of this, we're going to ask you if there are some services that we aren't providing at this time, and that maybe you have a special project, and maybe there's something that we have not investigated that needs to come to the table that will help everybody. So we'll ask you to keep those in mind, because we're always looking for other ways that we can assist.
Thank you, Dr. Foster. One of the other resources that Dr. Foster was talking about are some of the other things that we do in the center that are research oriented, that can help faculty, researchers with their research projects, their endeavors, or if they're just curious and want to know more about how to incorporate more research into their curriculum for students. One of the resources we offer is a research module that has been added to new faculty orientation. And in that module, faculty and researchers will have the opportunity, especially our new faculty, to learn more about not just the requirements for research here at the institution, but as well as resources that we can provide in the center, national resources, conferences, workshops, networking opportunities, peers here at the institution who have similar research interests, and how to incorporate research into the curriculum so that students can have that same opportunity to dig a little deeper into topics of their choice that relate to their professional field. We also offer and can offer research-focused reading circles if there's a particular area of research or a type of research, or if faculty and our researchers on campus have reached out to us and said, you know, we want to know more about qualitative research. How do you effectively use that? How do you take that from the experiences in the classroom? We can design a reading circle around some of those research articles, books, events. If there's a TED Talk, we have the capability to facilitate those. We also host faculty roundtables. This is something that we've been doing for a long time in the center. As far as if you remember the brown bag lunches that we used to host. Now with, you know, our foray into this virtual world, feet first, we will be hosting some virtual faculty roundtables. And because our topics are faculty suggested and faculty led, we are taking those suggestions from you all about what you want to see, what you want to discuss, that we can help facilitate and help bring our faculty and our researchers together across different disciplines. And even if we need to bring in someone external who can talk to us about research they've done at their institution as well. And then many of you have been clicking and reading on our newest edition, is our Center for Teaching Excellence newsletter. And with the newsletter, we are going to be focusing some of those issues on the research that our faculty are doing. And we want you to submit your research advertisements and your announcements if you're looking for help, if you want to reach out to a colleague and say, hey, I have this idea, anybody want to collaborate? We can highlight some of those things that you're doing in the classroom with students, as well as research ventures that you've embarked upon with peers on campus and on a national and international level as well. So we are here to support you in your research endeavors.
So one of the final things, I guess, that we have offered, and I always want to make it clear that we're not a copy center in the center, but we can assist you with that, because oftentimes you have completed a research project and you do need to have a copy that's been bound, and we can assist with those things. We have a wealth of resources that sometimes, if you don't want to go to the library, not taking anything away from the library, but maybe we have like the APA guides that you can come in and use, or maybe we have some journals, or we're always looking for articles. And typically on Wednesdays, we are posting something new that might help, that we found just for you to pick up, to come in, have a cup of coffee, and find out what's new going on, whether it's in teaching, whether it's in research, whatever, and just sit down and have a conversation. One of the things that we are hoping to do, whether we stay in the space we're in now or whether we are moving, we don't know, is to have a collaboration space for faculty and research teams. We want them to be able to come in and maybe a group of 3 or 4 that are working on something. And, you know, often you need a safe space, and it's not in your office because there are so many distractions in your office, but an area that we will have in the center will be so those teams can come in and can share, and maybe sit down for an hour and write, and you may write for 30 minutes and pass it to your colleague and let them read it and then pass it back, and just be able to get your ideas together, particularly if you're talking about an interdisciplinary team. Sometimes you do want a space that's outside and that you can come and meet. So we're hoping to provide that for research and for writing as we move into the next phase. And right now, if we are staying virtually, we're going to figure out a way that we can even do those collaboration spaces virtually so that it doesn't stop the progress of what we're doing. And I think this is an opportune time because most of us have not had the pleasure of teaching as we are teaching now. And so this would be a time that those persons that are really interested in research, but they're interested in also bringing to light what we're doing different in the classrooms, whether it is working, why is it working? Is it working for a particular population of students? Is it working for a certain gender of students? This is the time that you can really start digging in and looking at the research that's already out there, but bringing forth what you want to document as our research. Okay. And so we want to talk about why we don't do probably as much, or what are some of the pitfalls of us doing research. And one of those is time management. And as I indicated earlier, if you work at Prairie View, you probably have multiple assignments that you might be doing. So what are some of the time robbers? Can you think of, and I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to think of some of the time robbers and ask you to put those in the chat box before we move on. And I can count to 30 pretty good. So I think Ms. Cotton is managing that chat box.
Oh, you're getting a lot of information here.
I see.
A lot of time robbers. Service in quotation marks, drop-in students, course prep, office hours, committee meetings again, course prep again, course evaluation, heavy teaching load, emails about items due immediately, grading. So far, I think that's all that got in 30 seconds.
I think, but that's our 30 seconds. And all of those are excellent. And I think, you know, we always talk about teaching, research, and service and where's the balance. But I think Dr. Holston put service as one of the first ones that was in there. And that is so true because we are expected to do some of all of those, but where do you draw the line? Because you can get so involved in the service that you don't have the time that you need to put in the research, or as somebody, I think Dr. Thomas mentioned, the teaching load. There are times that your teaching load, and I know I've been a victim of this, your teaching load is so great. You may have 4 classes, but if you have 4 different preparations, then by the end of the day, you don't have the energy. Even as a young faculty member, you can wear yourself out and not have the time that you need to put into that. Another thing I think is when we even, when our classes are scheduled sometimes, I don't think the consideration is given. I'm not saying always, but there are oftentimes I have heard faculty say, if I have classes 5 days a week in my class, I have a class at 8 o'clock and then another class at 2 o'clock, but the classes are so scattered that it doesn't give me that time to really concentrate on the research I'm doing. So let's look at some of those that we actually put in, if we can click and see some of the time robbers we said, where you are leaving tasks unfinished. You know that you have a task, but there's a task unfinished. And if you have a list for today and you're moving half of those tasks to tomorrow, it's because you didn't finish them today. So what does that do for your research? We are a social being, and sometimes we just have to decide where our limit is on that, if we really want to be the researchers that we want to be. And then it's not taking anything away from socializing, because it's necessary. We also know that we have students that have a need for our time that maybe at other institutions they didn't have. And that may be a uniqueness about being at an HBCU and having still first generation students, that there are times that we might need to listen and help that student move forward. And that student may end up being that student that does some research with you. So we're not taking away, but we do want to recognize it can be a time robber. Telephone interruptions. We've moved, I guess, a little bit from that, in that we have emails and more people are just sending emails. But then when you look, I know this morning I looked in, within about 10 minutes, I think I had 25 emails that needed some type of response. And so one of the things that we generally say is identify a time in the morning that you address emails, and then identify a time later in at the end of the day. But if you're one of those that you're addressing those emails all day long, that becomes an interruption too. And then attempting too much. How many assignments can you honestly do well? Are you always saying yes because somebody's asking you? Or have you learned to say, I don't think I can do the best at that right now? So that's a time robber. Again, drop-in visitors, those very well may be students, they may be faculty, but generally it is a need. That is the one thing we like about the center, because it is a place that faculty feel comfortable in coming in. And again, having those engaging conversations, and those conversations very often could center around some research. It just means that it's an unexpected visit, but it's one of those that you can come in and you can sit and maybe exchange some ideas with someone that you had no idea was interested in the same research that you were doing. So just because it's a time robber does not mean it's negative. Personal disorganization, I don't know if I can help you with that. But there are people that are not the most organized, but we try to make sure that if there's some tips that we can offer to say, this might help you with your organization. And that may save time. It may mean that you have the ability to do more if you have just a little bit more organization. And again, I said, as an earlier, the ability to say no. And procrastination, we know if we are a procrastinator. And generally, if you are one, you're always trying to do better with that. And so those are just some things that could be time robbers that on. And the thing is, if you recognize it, you may do something about it, okay? And so for the next, Shayla.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Foster. On that note about figuring out what the time robbers are and making sure that we eradicate or manage as many of those as possible, one of the things that we can do to counter the effect of some of those time robbers is to prioritize our tasks. And that can be a daunting task within itself, because there are so many things that need our attention that do seem urgent. Many of them are mandatory. So one of the things that will help is making a list of things we've already done. Everybody needs a win. Everybody needs to be able to look on a sheet of paper and say, I did these 5 things today, because it's very easy in a busy day to feel defeated and to feel like we have not accomplished much. But when we write those things down, even if it's a little thing, I made breakfast today, or I folded clothes today, or I managed to write a paragraph in this article today, or I edited 3 sentences, you did something. So if we maintain a list of accomplished tasks, that will help when we're feeling like we haven't made much progress. That's great motivation to keep going because we have gotten some things done today. One of the other things that we can do is list the tasks that we do have left to complete and categorize them. This task list and this organization method that's on the screen has been one of my best friends for a very long time. And it allows us to put our tasks in order of importance and urgency, because inside our brains, everything seems important and it seems urgent because all of those thoughts are competing for attention at the same time. But if we write things down and label them as urgent and important, that means it's top priority. It's level A, it has to get done right now. Level B would be urgent but not important. It's time sensitive, but it's not necessarily important. But if it doesn't get done on time, then it will become important because we didn't do it. Level C would be important, but it's not necessarily urgent. There are some examples of things that we've just been wanting to do that are big tasks, but if they don't get done today, the world won't end, and neither will we. But we can put those at a level C. And then finally, there's level D. It's not urgent and it's not important. These level D tasks often link back to what Dr. Foster talked about with attempting too much, because sometimes we take on tasks and we say yes to things, and sometimes we put too much on our plate. Sometimes those leftovers that are in group D down at the bottom, sometimes if we sift through some of those, we'll realize that we took on some things that weren't necessarily ours to take on, and we may be able to delegate those tasks to a place that's more appropriate. So being able to prioritize those tasks will help. And the university is doing a beautiful job of making sure we get where we need to be, and our students and our faculty and staff are well taken care of, but things are still tentative because we've got lots to do and finite amounts of time in which to do them. So prioritizing in that method may help just a bit as we go into the next semester. And here are some additional resources.
So some of those we actually have looked into, and they're really pretty good about the time trap. And we will have these resources available in the center when we return. And so if you don't already have a copy and you think that you need some assistance with your time management, just let us know and we will provide you with copies of these. And now for some fun.
You all will bear with me. I'm going to pause so I can get us going. And I'm also going to drop a link in the chat.
And we will be able to tell whether you were paying attention. Or if you want to win a prize. So you can have your phone out, or if you're on the computer.
So if you'll see in the chat box, it says joinmyquiz.com. If you'll go to that website, joinmyquiz.com. And I think Shayla's going to give us some further information, further instructions once you get to joinmyquiz.com.
And I will give you all that code here in just a moment.
I want you to know that Ms. Cotton and I did this earlier today. I won't tell you who won. So Ms. Cotton, are you playing now?
Okay, if everyone, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go to joinmyquiz.com, everyone, and type in that game code, I am going to start the game. Oh, type in that game code. As soon as we get a few players, then we'll be able to start. I'll wait until we get quite a few in the waiting room.
Mine won't load. It says unable to reach the site.
Uh-oh. Let's see here.
We'll try it again.
Just put joinmyquiz.com. Don't put
Yes.
the www.
Okay.
Y'all gotta watch Quincy. He like to win every quiz.
Look, they said their favorite word. They said prize. So,
I know. You remember last year in the opening session, Quincy was beating everybody out.
They've got good prizes, everyone, so I encourage you to join. I want to win.
Okay, I'll give us a few more seconds. I know there are quite a few of us who are trying to log in. We don't want to start without you. Is anyone having any difficulty? Are we okay?
I do have difficulty. I don't know where is it to join in. I have difficulty. Where is it?
You went to
If
join my quiz?
I could not find where to send a message to join the quiz.
Just type it in.
It's
Huh?
right above, it's right above where it says join quiz now.
Right about joinmyquiz.com. What do I do there?
Yes.
To play this game, what do I do?
Type it in.
Type it in your bar.
It's in the bar.
In your window, rather.
My window.
In your Google window.
No, see, start above that you have numbers. Oh, in my name window.
Right. Your
No.
window.
Oh, my window, what do I do? More? No. What is mute, start, rename?
I couldn't get the joinmyquiz.com to work. Quizizz.com, the second link, the second hyperlink works. The quizizz.com, I was able to.
Quizzes.com/join, that's also a way to get to it.
Yeah, that's what I had to use to get in.
So then once I see that, what I do? I clicked it, but I didn't get anything.
Then
You
it says to put in your,
Type it into your window.
Then you type in
In your own
that
window.
code 365772.
Oh, this number should go there?
Yes, that
Yes.
number should go there. 365772.
365772. Where this goes in my where do I type that number?
it should be a box that says enter your code.
Yeah, I think I made that mistake earlier. There's joinmyquiz.net and it doesn't show the box. So you have to look for the
but
one
me
that
also it doesn't
says
show.
.com.
Maybe I didn't register earlier or something.
No, that's the .net. You don't need to register.
Yeah.
It has to say joinmyquiz.com, not .net. It's
Yeah, I
different.
did that. I did, but then it shows up.
Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Now I see
Yes,
something
we can see
there.
your
Now I see
screen.
Okay.
365772. Now I get it. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Okay, all right, great, you got it.
Now I get it. Hold on,
Okay, let's go ahead and get started,
Let's
Shayla.
All right. Let's play.
Let's play, Shayla.
Okay, can everyone see that?
Yep.
All right. So I have the leaderboard, but you have a different screen because I'm the teacher.
So the questions are up.
Almost there. Got 3 people tied in. Oh,
I got cheated.
Dr. Griffin.
I see.
I got cheated.
Wait a minute, Dr. Holston, you were up there. What happened?
I don't know.
He was cheating. He was cheating.
No.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so we have our top 3
Uh-oh.
scores.
And we need a call time.
Fantastic. Yes. Okay. So we're going to stop. You all, if you're still working, you can finish. But our top 3, our first, second, and third place goes to Dr. Griffin, who has won first place. Congratulations, Dr. Griffin. We have Keisha A. in second place and Nellie in third place. Thank you all very much for playing. Y'all were paying attention. This is, by the way, for those of you who are interested in gamifying your class, Quizzes is free. I like free, so Quizzes is free. It's a lot of fun. It's very similar to Kahoot. It's not as fussy as Kahoot when you are trying to set something up. It takes a little less time to set this up than it does a Kahoot game, but they're both a lot of fun. So thank you all for playing. I am going to go back.
And we're going to ask that the top 3 individuals let us know who you are. You can either let Ms. Cotton know, or you can email either Shayla or myself so that we can get the prizes to you.
In my mind, I'm in the top 3.
Oh, Dr. Moore, I tell you.
Dr. Moore, what screen is that you are looking at?
See what happened was my finger.
See what happened was.
My finger slipped.
Dr. Moore.
This is Laura. Let me just interject. Any prizes that are being provided were not funded by Title III.
They were not. No.
All right. Thank you all for playing. I hope we hope you had fun with that.
So one of the things we wanted to announce, though, back in the spring, NASH, the National Association of Systems Heads, put out a call for proposals from systems to participate in a program by the Association of Colleges and University Educators, AQ, that you see on the screen. And so TAMAS actually submitted a proposal. There were 5 schools in the system. Prairie View was one of them that submitted a proposal. And the TAMAS system was one of the 4 systems that was selected. The California system was selected, Missouri, and I think New York was the other one. But anyway, we were actually one of the systems that was selected, and Prairie View is one of the 5 schools. It is a program that allows faculty to look at how they teach, what they can do different. And again, part of that is actually bringing that research component into your classrooms. It will start this year. The applications are out there. Everybody should have actually received another email with that today. It's not a difficult application to fill. You have to actually be teaching 1 class in order to participate in this. The registration for the project is being funded by NASH. It's $1,500 per person. Individuals that participate, it's a year-long 2-semester commitment. And they actually ask that you, and this is on that list, that you have approximately 2, maybe a little, no more than 3 hours that you can dedicate per week. And not every month. The schedule will be out. So we will do this starting our onboarding in August. Individuals also receive a $1,000 honorarium at the end. And the TAMA system will recognize everybody with a certificate and a celebration. It will be something that you can use in your dossier for promotion and tenure. And so if there's anybody that's on, that's interested, please look at that email that you should have received today. If you didn't get it today, it just went out a couple hours ago. It's gone out several times, but it was resent a couple hours ago. We have space for 2 cohorts of 30, so 60 total. We do have some spaces left, so if you're interested, please let us know. And I'm trying to think, was there another announcement? During the fall conference, you will also, the fall conference is scheduled for the 18th, 19th, and 20th. And so you will be getting some additional information. The AQ project will actually be onboarding during that conference, but you will be getting additional information on how the semester is starting and all during that conference. So you should be getting the save the date for that today or tomorrow as well. And so, Ms. Cotton, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there questions
Thank
that we can answer?
Thank you very much.
The survey is up that we would like for you to take, though, that helps us know what we can do better in the center. And so you see the QR code and the link that's there. It will not take you 5 minutes to complete it, so we'd appreciate it if you would actually do that.
Thank you all very much for allowing us to spend some time with you this afternoon and share with you what we are passionate about and how we are passionate about helping you with what you're passionate about. So thank you all very much.
I want to say that this presentation was very appropriately named The Hidden Figures of Research in the Center for Teaching Excellence, because we certainly did find out that there are so many ways that we can collaborate in the Office of Research and Innovation with the work that you're doing with the Center for Teaching Excellence, both with undergraduate work and with workshops, and we welcome opportunities to collaborate, finding ways for interdisciplinary research proposal development. There are just a multitude of ways that we can collaborate. So thank you for the unveiling of the hidden figures in the Center for Teaching Excellence. There are several questions here in the chat box, and we'll just take a few minutes to go through them. This has been great information, so we want to go through the questions as quickly as possible. One question is, are there any recently funded teaching or learning research projects to PVA&U?
That is a good question. In terms of research projects, there are a couple of grants that have been funded to look at some opportunities in teaching. One is a U Teach project, and it's not for us, it's the HBC U Teach. There will be some research that will be done with that project. You can reach out to Camille Burnett. She might be able to give you a little bit more information. And she would tell me I should be able to give you some too. But that is a project where we will be looking at increasing the STEM population of teachers. And so anytime you're doing something that increases, you want to look at why you are increasing, or what were the factors or the variables that allowed you to increase. And so we believe that those types of projects become research projects if we collect the data like we should. So that would be one that would come to mind.
Okay, how can CTE assist with teaching, learning, research proposals?
We can help you navigate your review of your literature. We can provide, again, the space. If it's somewhere, if there's some external training that you might need, we can help with that. If it means bringing in a consultant that has some expertise in that on that topic, we can certainly bring them in to have a consultation, sit down, and help you move forward. We can help with the collaboration, making sure that that is a working collaboration.
Okay, and the same person wants to know, how can CTE assist with non-teaching learning research proposals for faculty?
I probably would say we would need to look at that case by case.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would suggest the person that posed that question maybe just wants to contact us individually, because those would be one by different.
Okay, another question. I'm very interested in those workshops that you mentioned, specifically the trainings offered by CTE. How is this done? Do you come to the classroom?
So we have face-to-face, we have online, we have webinars that we offer where we just give you the link if it's, we have institutional memberships to several organizations, Magnum Publications, Academic Impressions, Innovative Education, and NISOD, it's another one that comes to mind. And so we have institutional memberships of those. When they offer workshops, some of those are done as webinars, some of those are done face-to-face, where we may have to bring somebody in that represents the organization, or it may be that we have to send you somewhere. Now, most of the trainings right now are virtual.
Mm-hmm.
We have one I know that's coming up that's for deans and department heads. It's not until November, so we really don't know whether it's going to be virtual or face-to-face. But some of those, if it fits in the objectives of the academy, we can provide for that. We are also, and Dr. Holston is on, and so I don't know if Dr. Kwasi is on. The three of us have been tasked with what was formerly FIE, and so there may be some additional opportunities there as well.
And FIE is?
Help me, Dr. Holston. Faculty, it was the project that Dr. James Wilson was over that funded opportunities for research and innovation. Can't remember exactly, but that would be another place that we could assist.
Okay, and you've mentioned several CTE events, and this person is saying that they've not been notified about the event. So how are people notified about the various events that you have?
Okay, so the week prior to a month, at the end of the month, the last week in the month, we always put a calendar out that has the events for the next month. There are times that we may add to that calendar, and if we do, we have a listserv that was provided to us by Human Resources, and we send those emails out to everybody. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of the summer, some people said, please don't send as many out as you're sending. So we send a monthly calendar out of workshops, whether it be a webinar that you can sit at your desk and participate in, or whether it's something that we are doing. If we brought in a consultant, it may be that we have to find a location. It may be the Northwest campus. It may be in the ballroom if we're doing something face-to-face for a large group. But we do publicize. We do Faculty Friday. At one time, we were just doing it once a semester. We've been asked by the provost to increase the number of Faculty Fridays that we were doing. I know we've had good participation with those. Certainly your deans and department heads are always getting that information, but we have not restricted it to just sending it to the deans and department heads. We send it to everybody. Whether you're a faculty member or researcher, it goes to everybody. So if you see something that says CTE, you might want to click on it. But also, because I know some people don't look at campus announcements all the time, but it does come in campus announcements as well. If you think you're missing it, let us know.
Okay, I want to remind everyone to please complete the brief survey that is in the chat box. And we've got a couple of other questions. Let's go to one about students. Do you provide basic research skills training for graduate and undergraduate students?
There is an undergraduate research, I think, office, and I think they provide that training. We don't provide the training for the students. The only time we've provided for graduate students is if there's a faculty member that has asked us to help with some training for maybe their class or something like that. But if we don't provide it, we can certainly direct you to someone that will.
Okay, and you sort of spoke to this in your presentation, but this person wants to know, could you please include training on Microsoft Excel? A lot can be done with it, and I and my colleagues are intimidated by it.
Sure. So whenever we get to somewhere at the beginning of the semester, we will figure out whether or not this will be something that has to be done virtually or whether or not we will actually have, maybe we'll bring people to the Northwest campus or somewhere that's quiet and do that. And if it means doing one-on-one, we have sessions that are one-on-one. So it's not the matter of being intimidated by it. I know often when you have large presentations and you don't have time to really get in and make errors, you just tend to get frustrated and stop. So we try to avoid that. And so if it means that we need to have somebody that's standing by you doing something one-on-one, we'll try to provide that.
Well, this has been a really wonderful training session. And thank you everyone who stayed to the end. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And you see the contact information there on your screen for Dr. Foster and for Ms. Shayla Wiggins. Great information. And there are many, many ways that I see that we can connect and collaborate. I want to remind you again to please complete the brief survey that is in the chat box. And also, if you would use your cell phone and go to the QR code that is on the screen to complete the survey that is needed for the Center for Teaching Excellence, that would be great. We want to ask you to please join us on Wednesday, where we'll have the third in a series of grant writing sessions. It'll be offered by the Office of Research Advancement, and they will be talking about funding sources from the NIH, the National Science Foundation, and the Department of Education, and others as well, I'm sure. So please join us on Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. For that session. Thank you again for joining us, and remember that this video will be available on our research channel, which is PVAMU Research on YouTube. Subscribe, and we'll see you on Wednesday for our next session. Have a great day.